the builder pattern. This is yet another creation pattern. So this is trying to get you not to use a constructor, believe it or not. So I'm going to deviate from our animal in this one and just make a new set of classes. Yep. Doesn't matter what this is. So you usually use this builder pattern for something that's got a lot of parameters to your constructor, and you'll notice that these are like N, A, C, what do those mean and all that. When you passing in a bunch of things, it may not be clear how they're working. So let's just go ahead and make a main method. Here's we'll use better types. That's horrible. I don't want to use my name then. So we got a red vase that's 1 year old. Right. So that's one way to go about doing it, but there's another way with the builder pattern. You can embed the builder inside of foo, or you can make it your own separate class. Go ahead and make a separate class for this. Just like to keep things separate if I can. Now, you should go back and watch the factory method, the abstract factory, and the singleton classes to see that you could implement this any number of ways. I'm just going to be quick and do it as a static method. Actually, I won't make it static, I'll just make it... let me pause. Let me think about this for a second. It's just, I've been doing nothing but making these videos, and my mind is a bit mushy. The way that the builder pattern works is basically you've got this one build method, and everything else, I'll put that at the top. Everything else returns a foo builder. And we can do with name. And with age and with color. Call it color or color? I don't remember how I went with you. replicate this by replicate this here, but they're not going to be final. Just an FYI, I hardly ever, I don't even think I've ever used this pattern once in real life. I'm not a fan of it. Another way that people call it is a there's a word for it. Can't remember, but there is another name people use for it. Fluid or fluent. Can't remember the name, but there is another name people use for it, and I think probably the reason I don't use it is you'd only use this if you had like 8 parameters, 10 parameters. My view is you'd only use it if you had a lot of parameters. Since I don't generally have a ton of parameters to my methods, I don't really have a need for using this pattern. But it exists. And it's approachable, and it is useful, I suppose, just I've never had a use for it. So this is returning our self, right? The object itself. And you'll see why we need to do that because of this thing called method chaining. So we've got these methods with name, with age, with color, and then we can call build. So our constructor now becomes something like this instead. So one nice thing, I can do this in any order I want. So foo1 and foo2 are equivalent. Here we've got the constructor with the 3 parameters. Here we've got the builder with the other parameters. So we don't have to do it this way though. We can also do it this way. I'll make foo3 just so we can see that. Actually, we don't need builder 2 if we do it this way. No, quite often I wouldn't do that. I would do that. So you see code like this. So we're going to make a new foo builder with color, with name, with age, and then we're going to call build and assign that to foo3. So this magic, this chaining works because each of these returns the foo builder. So we don't have to do a separate line for each. Where this could be useful, and I'd argue I personally don't have a use for it, but where it could be useful is, say you're reading from a file, maybe it's a spreadsheet or something, and this is the first row, this is the first cell, this is the second cell, this is the third cell kind of thing. So it makes it a nice natural way to just read things in and do them. You can change the order, right? Say the spreadsheet, the class constructor is name, age, color, and you want color, name, age, because these are the rows in the spreadsheet, or the order in the spreadsheet, for example. Again, not a fan personally, but it's useful. Sorry, it's not. It must be useful because it exists. So somebody has a use for it. I personally don't. But it's easy to understand, and it's yet another example of how to reduce using the word new in places. We can completely, we're hiding behind the foo builder what this actually returns. So this could return a subclass of foo, we'll never know, right? So this is another creational pattern.